you showed up today on this occasion. I take it as an expression of your willingness to show up in the face of difficulties, challenges we are all facing. So let's sit for a few minutes. So before we embark on this journey of transmission, teaching, perhaps discussions, see if we can take a moment to reflect on how many of us are right now in need, are facing vulnerability, fear, uncertainty, despair, and hopelessness. Just the sense with your body, not too much on intellectual analysis. See if you can connect your heart. What's your heart response? How does your heart feel? How many of people, including you, are right now in need of kindness, acceptance, love, sanity, clarity, courage, and perhaps optimism. Can you allow yourself to feel and be struck by the thunder of compassion, which is innate, a sense of caring, which all of us have. So if we can allow it to manifest, allow your heart to feel pain, allow your heart to break. So at the same time, see if you can allow yourself to feel this opportunity which life presents you, like opportunity for being able to show up today here for Dharma, and the responsibility and the duty that opportunity implies. See if you can embrace both gracefully, blessing, grace to be able to be here on the path or journey of Dharma, and the duty, commitment, responsibility that the practice journey implies. See for next a few minutes, based on this contemplation, see if we can frame today's gathering with a sublime motivation, perhaps the deepest, most profound motivation of bodhicitta. So for a few minutes, see if you can immerse yourself, steep yourself in that ocean of bodhicitta, so that whatever we're going to do, whatever unfolds today's session, whatever unfolds, that will be imbued by this sublime motivation. We all need that. The world required of us, asking us. We all have a calling within us that's brought us here. I trust that, and see if we can cultivate that answer or response to that calling in this session. Caring for the world including ourselves, our families, favorite ones, and so-called enemies. Okay, welcome everybody. This Sunday session is about the 7-pair transmission, and also teaching a little bit, and discussion. So this September, we are focusing on the practices at the times of
distress, turmoil, uncertainty, groundlessness, all of those things.
All those things. Yeah, right now it's apparent. Always samsara, but we don't ignore. We don't say that it's just a samsara. No, we have again responsibility. I kind of invited you to feel into We have an opportunity, which means we have a responsibility. We have enough resources to show up here, enough support to you be able to be here. This is itself is tremendous, causes and condition came together to be able to be here together here on this particular. So this moment is a moment to moment. It's arising and ceasing. It's a passing. Causes and condition brought us here to be these moments which are so precious. So let's make good use of this time being together. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you so-called oral transmission rune in Tibetan. Basically, oral transmission is like a current of the river from master to disciple, starting from the Shakyamuni Buddha, awakened one, and transmitting it uninterruptedly. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Those of you who want to receive, just to keep your heart open. As long as you cultivated that most profound motivation of bodhicitta, trust that is innate, that's who you are. At the same time, you keep your heart open and ear open. Then you receive a transmission. It's very short text. Maybe I should talk a little bit about this text. The 7th page is one of the lineage texts according to the so-called Ganden Ear Whisper lineage, Ganden Ensa Ear Whisper lineage. So Ear Whisper lineage whispered from the Mount of Bliss, Mount of Joy, Ganden traditions, which we practice. We just practice the longer version. Gyuru Tsoksu Ngowa, main practice we just did in a previous session, right? So this is the shortest or the most abbreviated form of the Cho practice according to this lineage, Ganden Ear Whisper lineage. This was composed by the Kelden Gyatso. Kelden Gyatso, one of my favorite. He's a poet and also retreatant and wandering yogis from Amdo region. He studied monastic education, he did, but he left the monastery. He started the movement, so-called Ritopa. Ritopa is this wilderness movement, residing in the wild place and spending the rest of life in retreat, wandering, and renunciate lifestyle. He composed lots of beautiful poems and songs of realization. So this one was composed by him, extreme abbreviated instructions on the Cho of Ear Whisper lineage. That's a longer title. The 7 pairs, Pedumma. Kelden Gyatso is 17th centuries. This condensed entirety of the Cho practice or the formats. So those of you who may have a text, which I put to the subject heading. So start with refuge bodhicitta, and that's the first one. Then the 4 immeasurable, to cultivate the love and compassion, which leads to the profound, genuine cultivation of the bodhicitta. The third one is generating yourself as Vajradhakini to summon the gods and demons. So this is the 2 preliminary stage. Then visualize the field of merit. Then dive into this core of the Cho, heart of Cho, which is separating the awareness from the body. After that, consecrating the offering. Offering means body, right? Transforming the body into offering. Then consecrate or blessing. Then also this had a 3 feasts, 3 different kind of feast. White feast, variegated feast comes before red feast, this one. White feast, variegated feast, or manifold feast, then red feast. Then finally sending back the guest and meditating on emptiness of the 3 spheres, and then dedication and aspiration prayers. So those are sequence, standard. Any kind of Cho practice, some of you might practice in different tradition, have this format. Maybe some, of course, variations might be there, but this is the standard. Machi Clapton described that. Her great Namche Chenmo talks about Cho practice. We don't have many texts like Ganden, Ear Whisper, Lineage of Ch. So this is one of the very few texts which we have lineage transmissions. So Peduma, especially this is good if we don't have time and personal practice, you can integrate this if you want to really practice Cho. There are many ways to practice Cho. One is the elaborated Cho. That is, we just practiced. Gannen practice involved Damaru, bell, chanting with melodies and everything, whole 9 years that we often see. Sometimes you can call the external Cho as well, physical practice involved, body, speech, and mind. Then the second way to practice is the internal Cho, or the, you can say, simpler Cho. That is Tonden practice, which we practice a little bit based on the 5 slogans. Yeah, Tonden. This is Cho practice. Cho practice is the one version, the Pierce Tonden. So that's how we can practice. Also, today I thought I gonna share. This is the cutting through with Pe. This is the third way to practice Cho. That is called unelaborated Cho. I would say third one. So first one is elaborated Cho, which involved whole 9 years. Then second one is simple Cho. That could be Tonden practice in the context of Cho. So which means the body offering involved. So Pierce Tonden, body which we attach the most, we offer. Then the third one is unelaborated Cho, which is the cutting through with Pe. Then the fourth one is the simplest and the most profound, resting in Ripa and maintaining ongoing recognition of true nature. So this one, Peduma, is maybe I would say the most abbreviated version of the first Cho, elaborated Cho, because it has everything in here, basically. So if you like to incorporate this practice into your daily practice, or maybe once a while, that'd be nice too. Using a melody has many benefits and also meaning, and especially if that's the blessed melody, blessing melody, which is sung by all the great masters, itself has a blessing. So we can do that very slowly so that we can contemplate. So if you practice elaborated Cho, it makes sense. Unless you get the commentary on this, just use this as a first practice of Cho. It might be a little bit weird and difficult. But if you understand the core, basic of Cho, what's going on in Cho practice, then this is very good. Shall we practice together with melody? So refuge and bodhicitta. So I don't need to give any commentary on this, but I always kind of emphasize, really, I want you to embody refuge and bodhicitta and feel the refuge in your body. Allow your body to experience refuge and bodhicitta. Very moving, very touching, especially the meditation we just did. We are not here just for small island of separate self. We are here as an ambassador of all humanity, all beings, seen and unseen. Then we go for refuge and cultivate bodhicitta. Sangye chodan tsoki chonamura chanchu padu dani kyasuchi daki jinso ぎべそなむきドラペンチルサゲトパルション and for immeasurable sem chen tamu che de wa tan de we gyu tam. Just to take a moment to immerse yourself in love, compassion, joy, and equanimity, ocean of all these good qualities which are innate but need to be unveiled. So now generate yourself as Vajradakini. So this form is very interesting. It's in here. Maybe recite in English first. Is I want you to imagine. In the longer version, this is the section of summoning or the overwhelming the gods and demons. You can see clearly this is the Vajrayana practice, practice. We invite, we summons, and overwhelms all vicious harm givers. Those harm givers, king spirit or demons, they are vicious but also timid. So we have to work very skillfully. We don't want to push them away, but we don't want to allow yourself to be overcome by them. See part of ourselves, blind spot. They don't want to come out, or you don't want to see it. But then, see if we can skillfully allow that to come out to the surface of the lake of your awareness so that you can walk with that skillfully without pushing them away or without drowning in the emotionalities. The next one is visualizing the merit field. So now we're going to make a connection with awakened presence. Now you back to your ordinary form, human form. So visualize this way. Appearance emptiness. It's like a rainbow. Vividly appear, yet empty of any self-existence. Now you separate the awareness from the body, pore part. So this is not stage by stage. There are many ways to practice pore. This one is just shooting from your heart. So first you have to imagine the consciousness with your heart center, kind of intensifying everything. This is you. You have to imagine that as if not looking you consciousness from outside, like you are that consciousness. Then strong yearning to merge into this awake presence, Dharma Dhatu, absolute expanse of space, totality. Then say then into space. Then you might like to rest in that for a while. Rest in the freshness and immediacy of the present moment without any fabrication. Okay, then consecrating offering. Now finally we do offering. Who and what is making offering? For this one, see if you are not so familiar with the regular Cho practice, difficult to say. But now your old body is already gone, making your old body or corpse offering. Your consciousness, your awareness as Vajra Yogini, right, emerges from my heart into space. Then that your awareness will do the action. Will make consecrating offering and make all these feast offerings. Then now body become a pure offering of nectar. Imagine that. Then now first offering is a white feast. So white offering, why white? Because a clean part of the body, such as the brain and the juice, that one become offering. Then second feast is variegated a manifold feast. So using those bones, skin, the joint, and other parts become offering. Then third offering is the red feast. So this was inserted later by A Lama, our important lineage master. So this one is the red feast. Red feast is always quite bloody and lots of juice in it. If we psychologize in this section, red feast, quite a lot of significance in it. We invite all gods and demons, just we did practice right in the previous session, from the peak of samsara to bottom of the hell. We invite all harm doers, spirits and gods and demons, come here and eat whatever you want to eat. If you like bones, chew on bones. If you like blood, drink blood. If you like to eat meat, then eat meat, and so forth. Anything coming up in this red feast? Very short. When you practice red feast, how your body respond?
It requires me to really use my imagination. Of course, it all does, but that especially. And I don't know, there's something sort of liberating about just really imagining that it's my body, it's my blood and guts and everything, and everybody who needs it can come and get it. So I experience it, usually with a sense of come and get it. Generosity, I guess, in the strangest sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, it's my imagination, so it's okay.
It's kind of weird practice, isn't it? If you never practice, so weird, but very true to Aikido. This weird practice turned out very profound. Anybody else? Any experience in terms? Doesn't need to be the red feast, but in terms of offering the body. What comes up to you?
I had one experience many years ago. It was not a formal practice, but I offered my body. It was in a sky burial site. And after I was done and witnessed my own sky burial, after I was done, by the end of it, I was actually in the sky looking down on my body on the ground with all of this happening. And it just seemed just so much in the moment, I didn't reflect on that until later.
Interesting. Yeah, awareness. We identified ourselves with body, no? So much attachment to this physical body.
Yeah, sometimes I think about paying back my karmic debts, especially with this red offering, and feel like regret, so sorry for what I've done, the harm I've caused, and a sincere wish to make amends, kind of. And I like these red offerings too. Some of the texts, they get really into pages and pages of they're slurping and gnashing, and it's just very visceral.
Yeah.
What the gods, the demons are doing, with the red offering. Like you say, the more you can make it an experience of it, the more it comes alive.
Yeah.
But I do often think about that karmic debts, wishing to be free of those debts and sorrow for having harmed.
Yeah, I feel, that poor thing, sometimes I really feel like a trouble child, like a mother, just dealing with a trouble child, they want to do their best, but they couldn't. Like this egos or whatever, they try to help or whatever way, they could, but they turned out to be very harmful. So then we need to approach it with this poor thing, with love and compassion, embrace, like a mother approaching the troubled kids. Like all this gang, gang. But then at the bottom of their heart, they have a same human and same sentient beings, caring and love they have, but just couldn't express in a wholesome way. I feel quite a compassion toward those beings.
There's one thing, just because I really noticed it with the previous session in the Red Feast and in this one, what really came up for me was the robustness of the Red Feast, you know, the meaty, bloody quality. It helped me with some of my own resistance and attachment to the body. You know, it felt like just like cut it all up. So there was something, because I've had experiences where I've been like, ooh, you know, my own fears or whatever arises. So I'm just feeling my way and sharing what my experience is. But something came up today about just the more ease in the letting go in the Red Feast.
13 beads. Now sending back the guest, then meditating on emptiness of the three sphere. Although they may not return to their abode, they might get really comfortable. In that case, just take that little thing, you know, along with you on this journey. Take your egos; they will grow up slowly and become part of you, strength. Maybe your ally. You know, sometimes those trouble kids or gang, if we approach and they started to trust us, then they become very good protectors. I notice all the trouble teenagers, they become very nice protectors for me. When I approach with love, unconditional love. So this is just one line. Then take a moment to rest, you know, on emptiness, especially emptiness of the three sphere, you know, giver, self, and the object of giving, or guest, or anything between. Act of giving, gift of your body, everything is empty of true existence. Okay, then auspicious prayer, that's the practice.
I just had a question about practice with this practice, how you would approach it. Would you just kind of do it as a short practice, or just wanted to hear more about that?
Yeah, there are many, many ways to practice this simple, especially the simple practice like this. I'm just experimenting myself, you know. Like if you have something, you know, gods and demons, if you want to work with one or two or whatever coming up, then maybe focus on that. It'd be nice there, the format, so you can frame this way, but then focusing on one particular thing. I think that's become very powerful because this is short, so more focusing on your personal gods and demons. As I always emphasize, it's not about the word. Word is an assistant, like a poetry. When you read, then you have an experience that diffuse bodhicitta. Make sure you have that experience in you when you read. Maybe you might not need a word in the end. You know, diffuse bodhicitta, what that means. Then cultivate. Then move next. Does that make sense?
It does, and that's very helpful. Yeah, very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, that's one way. Then another way is maybe if you like to use melody like this, really melody brings up the experience, internal experience, because resonate to the subtle body. So like a Sangye Chodan Soki Chonamura, sometimes with melody, then that's bring up some certain kind of experience. And then feel into that. That's also one way to practice.
That's beautiful. I felt that right away.
Or maybe combined, you know, one part maybe.
I love what you're sharing about just the experimentation of it. I really like that. You know, you know, the personal aspect of it, and then also the melodies too, and both are wonderful doorways, as you're saying.
So that's just my own, still my journey process. You know, Dakinin Whisper is, I would say, like traditional and contemporary, using traditional practice, then how we can make it meaningful for contemporary life, contemporary people like us. And also I want to hear from you, your experience, how does that work for you, you know? So we're gonna continue to practice, discuss, and explore.